This is the Moondrop Golden Ages 2, and it is Moondrop's answer to this, which is also a Moondrop IEM. Remember this one? The Space Travel 2, I covered it a few videos back, and it is a fantastic little thing. Could not recommend it more, but just not for the reason that people thought. It's a really good bit of kit. You should go check out that video, under $30, but it is not without its flaws, and a lot of people had a lot of issues with it. Well, Moondrop said, that's all right, hold my beer, I've got you. This fixes all the flaws, but it comes at a price. And it does a couple of extra things. Today we're going to go into what you get in the box, what it actually does differently, and whether it's worth the money or not. Oh, and before I forget, Shenzhen Audio has collaborated with me on this. I get to say whatever I want, so I'm going to give you the pros and cons, everything fully transparent, above board, but they've agreed to send this out to one of you as a little giveaway, specifically to my YouTube members. If you haven't become a member yet, become one now, and at the end of the video, one of you might win it. Will win it. One of you will win it. Okay, let's get started. Obviously, there's some animation. I'm sure you're very happy about that, but you're about to be even happier because inside the box is something that's even better. Now, the cool thing about this is that it supports all the stuff that Bluetooth people get hyped about. You got LDAC, you got LHDC, you got LC3, you've got multi-point connections, all of that. And of course, it comes with that Moondrop Link app, which we'll discuss in a bit. Now, again, in the box, let's just open it up over here, and you can see the unboxing experience is completely... There is no unboxing experience for this, barely. This looks like this. Now, how nice is that? You get little pull tabs. The earphones go here. Already tried them on. That's why they're not here anymore. They're inside the case, which we should talk about. Look at this. First of all, a lot of people did not like that this did not have a lid, and when they shook it, apparently it fell out. Well, this one has a lid. You shake it, it ain't falling. That's a good thing. Inside, you've got the earbuds, and you'll notice that on the original, the earbuds were flush with the case, and it's quite difficult to actually bring this out. You can get used to it, but it's just not the most easy, user-friendly experience. This one, they stick out a bit, so it's much easier to just pull them up by the stem. Now, the stem also has this little marker. That's your touch sensor, and it works with the same controls as the old one, so no changes there. And generally, it feels like a cheap piece of plastic, but you've got a little bit of graphic everywhere. It has this cassette player vibe, which is very in keeping with what Moondrop has been doing lately. They've actually got a cassette player. You should go check it out. It's kind of fun. But this is a great way to use cheap plastics, do the same thing basically, but add a little bit of fun and character in the mix by having a little bit of custom art. I really like it. It also says 22 nanometer custom SoC, ultra linear acoustics, dual suspension planar driver. That's the other thing. This is a planar driver IEM, a massive upgrade to the dynamic driver IEM, and we'll talk about sound in a bit and how that affects it. But yeah, there you go. What do you think? Not the most pocket-friendly case still, because it's still a big chungus, but really fun. I like it. I really like it. And they have added quality of life conveniences, so I'm not really worried about them, falling out of the case. I'm not worried about trying to strain to get it out of the case. This is great. So far, so good. Now, what's interesting is you also get a case for the case. And this is what that looks like. Now, this is interesting because it also has a lid, but it comes completely off. So basically, you put it in here. Actually, hang on. Right, so I think this goes the other way. Yeah, so you've got a little bit of a circle back here, and you've got the pairing button back here. So you've got to align those two things together, right? I would imagine. How else would this work? And there's a little LED in the front, which also aligns with the little hole over here. So all that makes sense. If I put it in here, and then I just put this on top, yeah, that's it. Doesn't matter which way you put it. I probably put it the wrong way, but there you go. It looks really, really nice. Opens up with the case. Again, making it even less pocket-friendly, but I gotta say, this feels a little more special in every single way. Even though the plastics are just as cheap as last time, all that stuff is the same. This feels more special. Now, underneath all of this, you get a little box, and presumably, yep, you've got some extra ear tips, just the usual extra 2 or 3 sizes in there, and you've got a user manual, which we will promptly not read. What if there's something important and interesting in this? No, still not reading it. There probably is, okay? Which brings us to the actual sound quality, which is noise cancelling, transparency, and the actual sound. But before that, it is worth talking about the Moondrop Link app. And it's not a positive one. This app has been hit and miss for a long time, and it still is. While it does work with the Space Age 2, it does recognize the device. When I'm in the app, it doesn't always allow me to use all the functions. The base functionality is there, but when I go into PEQ or using any kind of EQ, then it stumbles sometimes. So there is a bit of an issue. Now, it does come with 3 presets, and we'll talk about that in a second, but let's see how the noise cancelling does first. Now, I have measured the noise cancelling performance, and I'm going to put it up for you. The range for noise cancelling that I measure is between 100 Hz to 10,000 Hz, because that is the range within which I can give you some useful data using my measurement rig. And as you can see, it's not exactly the last word in noise cancelling, but it's not bad. You'll get about 20-22 decibels, which is par for the course at this price point. $80 to $90. So I'm really not complaining, but I think you get that from everything in this price point. There's really nothing to write home about, but it does make a real difference when you use it, to give it credit. Transparency is odd. It is not transparent. It definitely amplifies voices over other things. And I think in the manual, yes, okay, I might have read the manual a little bit. It does say that that is in fact the intention. So yeah, they achieve it. I don't like it, doesn't sound natural, but if you want to amplify sounds around you, specifically voices, then yeah, that gives you that. Now, as for the sound, you get 3 presets. You get pop, reference, and you get monitor. I think pop and reference are fine. The reference just tones down the bass a bit. Pop is absolutely reasonable and is kind of just a one-size-fits-all. Now, this is more of a warm, not so bassy, but generally a slightly bassy warm sound. And the first thing I noticed from this is that it just sounded better than the old one. Everything sounds cleaner, everything sounds tighter, bass sounds just as punchy as the dynamic driver, but with a little more authority and a little more definition. That's the right word. And that's the planar driver, I suppose. It's just cleaner while still being a warmer sound. What you also get is a 3 kHz peak, so vocals are emphasized as you would expect, and then a nice drop off in the treble. Now, I will say the drop off is pretty reasonable. I'm not hearing the lack of treble that you hear sometimes in the Space Travel 2, for example. There, it's a little bit different, a little bit better in the treble, and it does have a little peak in the upper treble, but that peak never exceeds the 800 Hz region. So all that is to say that this is a reasonably good sounding IEM with good vocal emphasis, though sometimes it does sound a little bit on the huskier side. Overall, good vocals, good mid bass and low sub bass, and a little bit of a warm sound signature overall. A U-shape, if you will. I'm not mad at this sound at all, but I have to say at this price point, you can pick up a mainstream pair of earbuds, and here is where the advantages sort of disappear. If you pick up something from, say, OnePlus, the general construction quality is going to be a little better. It's going to be very authoritative in the bass because OnePlus does bass very well. They're all dual driver circuitry as well. But it requires EQ. I have covered OnePlus earbuds in past videos, multiple past videos. You should go check those out, and you should use my EQ settings, and you'll see that at the end of it, what you come out with is something that sounds pretty darn good at roughly the same price point, plus or minus $10-15, and you get better build quality. What you don't get from those are the character that this has. This has oodles of character. All of those are rather sterile looking. They're nice, but they're nowhere as near as fun as the Moondrop Space Age 2. So what it comes down to is this. Did they improve upon pretty much everything? Yes, they absolutely have. The sound is better, the sound is cleaner, the noise cancelling seems reasonably similar, maybe slightly better, but more importantly, you get a case lid, you get some extra nice things like the leatherette cover, you get to pick out the earbuds easily. All the quality of life things have improved. You get your high resolution codecs, you get multipoint, although you can't use the codecs and multipoint together at the same time. And you get the option, when the app works, to use Moondrop's PEQ functionality, which allows you to tune it like any other of Moondrop IEMs, or allows you to share your EQ settings with other people and just manipulate the EQ live, which is all very, very cool if it works. Didn't work for me, but it did work on the other IEMs, so maybe the app is just doing its thing. Is it worth the $90? I'm not entirely sure. I think going forward, you will get $150 things discounted to $90, and those earphones will all have better apps. Those earphones will have reasonably decent sound, or something that can be EQ'd to good sound, but a lot of them will do bass even better than this. So I was willing to forego the little idiosyncrasies of this because it was at $30. At $30, you're getting a gateway into what is good tuning. You're getting a gateway into learning about EQ, fiddling around with it and making the tuning even better for your preferences. So many advantages of having this little thing over the disadvantages that you get, you know, slightly bad quality control here and there, and you know, all the difficulties with the case. Yes, they've solved some of those issues, but being $60 more while solving those issues is a little bit of a hard pill to swallow when the app works a little bit iffy. I want the app to work fine. If the app works fine, maybe I can still recommend it. But if you get this at a discount at like $50 or $60, then yeah, that is definitely, in my opinion, worth it for just educational purposes, so you learn about EQ, but also because you can tune it to whatever you want, and also it actually will sound cleaner than a lot of things like the CMF buds and whatnot. So yeah, I like the Space Age 2. I think $90 is a little pricey for what it is, but you do get some nice things and you get oodles of character. Now, this was a collaboration with Shenzhen Audio, and they have agreed to give it away to one of you. How do you get a giveaway? You become a member of the channel. Members get giveaways all the time, and this one will be given away to this member at the bottom. If you are not a member yet, you can still become a member and you'll get giveaways in the future. But if you have just won this, get in touch with me on X. Here's my X handle. You can DM me on that, or you can get in touch with me on Discord and tell me where to ship it, and I'll get Shenzhen Audio to ship it to you. That's the Moondrop Space Age 2. Thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Subscribe. Also subscribe. Yes, I forgot to say subscribe. There you go.